I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let's start with the roll call. Member Turman.
Here.
Member Totten.
Here.
Member Khan. Here. Myself. Member Brewster.
Here.
Member Plenty. Here. Member Bertinger.
Here.
Okay, and then I believe we have remotely Member Shapiro.
Here.
Thank you. Member Doyle.
Here.
And Member Misborski.
Here.
Thank you for all members. So first order of business will be approval of the minutes. These are the minutes from September 27th, 2024 meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Thank you for the motion. Second, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. Thank you very much. Our next item will be our report from our Chief Executive Officer. Thank you.
Morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. May I please have a moment of silence for the following employees who have passed away since last night. Manager of Employee Relations, Joe Carella. Operators Michael Gibson, Don Hickey, Harold Stein, and William Cosser. Automotive Mechanic Charles Pickens. Accounting Supervisor Donald Mazza. Machinist Regis Engel. And Instructor Ronald Francis. Thank you. Well, we have had a really busy October. As you know, we launched the current phase of the bus line redesign on September 30th, and we have been really thrilled with the response so far. Thank you for taking your time to speak to us to let us know what you think about these proposed modifications. Again, this is very draft. We need to hear from you. In just 25 days, we've heard from more than 1,000 people at almost 30 planned and impromptu events, talking to riders at bus stops, organized meetings, shopping centers, and other locations throughout Allegheny County with nonprofits, community organizations, and municipal and elected officials. This week alone, our team was in, this is a long list, New Kensington, Greenfield, Fineview, Oakland, and Bellevue. And of course, we had a great turnout at an online meeting last night. Next week will be Tarentum, Oakland, and Bloomfield. By the end of November, we will talk to people in Homestead, Millvale, Aspinwall, Westview, East Liberty, Brookline, Hazelwood, Vermont Valley, and more. By the end of December, we'll have been to at least 60 events. The project website is buslineredesign.com. It's had more than 22,000 visitors and more than 4,000 comments. So please look for us in a community near you or visit the website to learn more about the project and provide your input. Based on the quick conversation I had yesterday, the response has been mostly positive, but we have absolutely heard from some areas where we have missed the mark. Thank you for making sure we know. We will absolutely be going back to the drawing board on a bunch of these areas to make sure we're serving places where people are and where they want to go. So again, this is a draft. This is a work in progress. And honestly, this is the way that public transit should work and why this is so important. The folks who use the system every day should be telling us how we can best suit their needs. So on behalf of the entire team, thank you for helping us to make this network the best it can be. More exciting news, University Line Phase 2 is coming soon. Everybody, yay. I know that's unprofessional, but everybody, yay. Today we'll be asking board approval to enter negotiations for Phase 2 of construction. This is nearly $100 million would be awarded to Independent Excavating for Phase 2. They are our vendor who has been working on the construction in downtown. Phase 2 would go through Uptown and get all the way out to Oakland. Phase 1 is halfway complete. Oh my goodness. The project will end someday. There we go. But it's very exciting to move forward with their next stage. And then finally, I'd like to extend a heartfelt appreciation to the 111 members of the Pennsylvania House who this week approved a funding bill which would increase our share of state sales tax revenue, not our share, but the state share, designated for transit funding from 4.4 to 6.15%. That would generate about $282 million in new transit funding for every county in the Commonwealth. Every county in the Commonwealth is served by transit without raising taxes. For this, that would have meant about $40 million additionally each year. As of this morning, the Senate has not acted on this legislation. Pittsburgh Regional Transit empowers tens of thousands of Allegheny County residents and visitors with the freedom and independence to carry out their daily lives, supporting ourselves, our families, and our economy. And we remain optimistic that state lawmakers will acknowledge the importance of public transportation in Pennsylvania by prioritizing funding next session, and will be in Harrisburg. Also, remember, Halloween is coming. Have a happy, safe, fun one. Look out for the little booze and the bigger booze, where everybody has a good time, doesn't eat too much candy. And Madam Chair, unless there are any other questions, that concludes my remarks.
No, that's great. I should say, looks like I'm wearing my Halloween costume, which is the mean corporate girl, but I'm not. Public servant, I promise you. Thank you very much for the effort. And the next item on the agenda will be the report of the Performance Oversight Committee. And Tina, you're going to give us a report today? Sure. Thank you very much.
Good morning. The Performance Oversight Committee met last week, and I have 4 resolutions for the board's consideration. The committee first reviewed 6 procurement items and determined the bids to be in accordance with the PRT's procurement policies and procedures, and the prices to be fair and reasonable. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends authorizing the award of bids listed in the resolution for the total amount of approximately $1.2 million. My fellow members, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. With that, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion.
1 second. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution I have for your consideration seeks authorization to extend and amend an agreement to provide hosted interactive voice response services. It was explained at the meeting that this service provides 24/7 phone access to next scheduled and real-time trip information 365 days a year. It was also mentioned that the service provides fare car balance information along with a Spanish language option. In December 2017, PRT entered into a 5-year contract with In-House Transportation LLC to provide these services. After 2 previous extensions to the contract, the Performance Oversight Committee recommends authorizing a 3rd and final contract extension for 1 additional year and increasing the authorized total not to exceed the amount of $127,586.80. My fellow members, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve? Motion second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion carries.
The final 2 resolutions relate to the Bus Rapid Transit Project. The first resolution seeks authorization to amend agreements with CDR McGuire Incorporated and Hill International Incorporated to provide construction management services for the project. In September 2021, PRT entered into 3-year agreements with the firms for an authorized total not to exceed amount of $17 million, with the option to extend the agreements up to 2 additional years. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends extending both option years at this time through December 31st, 2026, with no increase to the previously authorized total not to exceed amount. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Yeah, I'll give that motion. And for a second. Second. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution seeks authorization to award a construction contract for phase 2 of the Bus Rapid Transit University Line project. To perform the work for the project, bid documents were prepared and publicly advertised, and 3 bids were received. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends that the board authorize the award of a contract to the low responsive bidder, Independence Excavating Incorporated, in the amount of $99,841,956, subject to completing all pre-award requirements. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
The committee also received an update of future procurement opportunities with PRT and the recent purchasing card program audit. The results showed that the P card program is being administered in accordance with applicable policies and procedures, and that employees are complying with the guidelines established. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Next, we're going to move on to the report of the Planning Stakeholder Relations Committee, Member Grant. Good morning. The Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee met last week. I have a few items for the board. The first is that staff presented the annual report of the agency's strategic plan. The strategic plan, the annual report, shows progress towards improving service quality in high equity areas, identified in the equity index, expanding ridership by attracting new riders to mobility-oriented options, and establishing fare structures that support greater regional access to transit ridership for all income levels, while minimizing negative revenue impacts. Many goals regarding customer experience, resiliency, and accountability have been achieved, are in progress, or are currently on target. More information on CRT's strategic plan can be found on CRT's website. Next, staff presented the quarterly update for the PRT X University Line BRT project. The University Line BRT project is currently continuing with phase 1 work in downtown Pittsburgh, under construction and expected to be completed by spring 2025, with installation of the 5 new transit stations. Contractors begin activating the 35 new traffic signals in downtown and will install the updated roadway paint lines for the ultimate configuration of travel lanes on 5th and 6th Avenues in downtown Pittsburgh at the end. Bus-only lane markings will be installed in late 2025. Among the new changes include safety and accessibility improvements to 16 intersections, including ADA-compliant curb ramps and crosswalks, accessible signals and lighting, and expanded sidewalks. Phase 2 work in the Uptown and Oakland neighborhoods are advancing towards contractor selection, with construction planning to take place in 2027. The Allegheny County Transit Council met on October 23rd. Staff presented the Rider Courtesy campaign to the council, and their next scheduled meeting is November 20th. The Committee on Accessible Transportation did not meet in October. Their next regular scheduled meeting is November 7th. Unless there are any questions, I think it's been reported. Thank you. Next, we're going to move on to the report of the Finance Committee. Member Totten.
Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow board members. Finance Committee met on Thursday, October 17th. I have 2 items to report. First, staff provided a review of the public comment period for the parking pass. The public comment period for the parking pass was held for a 60-day period from August 12th to October 11th, 2024. 2 informational sessions were held along with the public hearing. There were 30 total comments submitted, 8 in person and 22 online. 23 of those were positive, while 3 were negative and 4 were neutral. PRT management plans to return to the committee next month. The request to approve the parking pass program associated Title IX report. Next, September 24 financial results were presented. It was reported that total operating income for September was over budget by $337,000 due to increased passenger revenue and interest income. Total expenses for September were below budget by $2.5 million due to lower benefits, materials, supplies, and purchase services. Total subsidies for September were $4.9 million over budget due to increased state operating assistance and invoicing as the remaining balance of the federal stimulus funding. Total operating income through the first quarter is consistent with last fiscal year. Total expenses through September were $2.6 million higher than last fiscal year due to higher wages and salaries, access, and other expenses. It is reported that PRT has fully expended its remaining federal stimulus funds and ends September with about $351 million cash from the reserves. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you. The next item of business will be under new business committee. It's going to confirm the standing board committee chairs and members. The PRT bylaws provide that I make certain appointments to all of the standing committees. There's 6 of them, and these appointments are going to be made, and I just want to make sure that I report that out. So the Performance and Oversight Committee, Performance Oversight and Monitoring Committee, excuse me. The representative Nick Spitano will be the chair, and members will be Laura Skorsky and Ian Larry. Sorry. Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee, member Turman will be the chair, and we will have Al Doyle, Bob Berginger, and Bobby Fan be on the committee as well. Technology, member Skorsky will chair. Member Berginger will be on the committee as Bill 14, and Mr. Totten, member Totten will continue to be on that committee. Finance will be chaired by our treasurer, Allie Doyle. She will continue, she will serve as chair, and then representatives on that committee, the members will be Piano, member Totten, and member Shapiro. And then the Financial Audit Committee will continue to be chaired by Senator Brewster, with members of that committee, Ms. Skorsky and Ms. Member Turman. We also have a governance committee, and that governance committee is established to encompass all the chairs. I serve as chair of that committee, and then Representative Piscatano, Representative Brewster, Representative Doyle, Member Doyle, sorry, Member Skorsky, and Member Turman. We're trying to balance the elected first member. Sorry if I missed that up. To be respecting of the position, Senator Brewster. So those are all the individuals appointed. As we always do, we welcome all of our members to participate. We have great participated in all of our committee meetings and welcome questions for everyone. This is just the formal establishment of those chairs and those members who sometimes serve as interim or acting chairs if the chairs are available. So thank you very much for your time in that capacity. Next, we're going to move on to public comment. And we're going to start with our first person who is listed for public comment, which is Andrew Hussein. Is Andrew online today? I don't see Andrew here. Andrew Hussein. Andrew, is Andrew online? Andrew Hussein. Let's keep watch for Andrew. Sometimes he'll pop on later. Okay. Next, we have Ralph Williams. Ralph Williams.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello. Welcome.
Hi.
It's great to.
Welcome. You
Yes,
can
hello.
begin your comments.
Okay, thank you. It's great to be here. I'm the president of the Allegheny County Transit Council. And the main reason I'm here is to formally introduce myself to some of you who are new to the board. And those of you who are not, you know who I am. Those of you who are new to the board, you don't know who I am. And that's why I'm here today, just to formally introduce myself. I will be attending the, as I do every monthly board meeting when I can. I had some issues with my health last month that I could not attend, or I'm always online all the time. So I just wanted to say hello to the new board members and to formally introduce myself. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you. Next up, we have Fonda Doucette.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, board members and Madam Chair. My name is Fonda Doucette. I'm a former Director of Equity and Inclusion. And this morning, I would like to continue my information about how the HR department is wasteful with spending money. It was an incident where I was ordering printed material for the ERG. I vetted several companies from a list I got from the DBE, which Susan, I can't remember her last name. She created a list from the DBE list, and I selected 3 companies from the Pittsburgh area who could do the printed material. Well, I don't know who decided, but it was allowed by the HR department to have a company from Michigan who charged us in upwards of $8,000. The companies that I selected were in the areas of $3,000 to $5,000. And I thought it was a good idea to use people that we have worked with. And we also tell people who use our DBE services that sometimes we select from the list to do work for PRT. I don't know why it was done that way, but it looks like on paper that it was something that I selected or maybe that I chose, and that was not the case. The wasteful spending of money is not necessary. I don't know if we had a relationship with the company in Michigan, but it doesn't say a lot for how we treat our businesses in Pittsburgh and how PRT treats businesses in Pittsburgh. The companies that I chose, I looked at their work. They were very capable of doing the work, but we did not select them. And we chose a company that charged us more than 2 times than any of the companies that I selected to do the work. The spending is unnecessary, and I have more instances like this, but I understand I only have 3 minutes, and that concludes my time on this incident. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Our next comment will come from Tammy Lamar. Tammy, good morning. How are you? My name is Sammy Lamar, and I am a member of the Coalition of Concerned Transit Workers. I was an operator with PRT, and I was terminated by Andre Carr, VSD, at Division 56. I think it was a personal and unfair decision. The reason for my termination was I got off the seat to physically remove a passenger from the bus who had berated me and threatened me with the taser. I wouldn't be here this morning if PRT terminated every operator across the board for getting out their seat and or physically touching a passenger. I know 2 occurrences that happened with operators getting out of their seat and being physical with passengers. The male operator hit his passenger 18 times. PRT only suspended him. The female operator came out her compartment on the T and pepper sprayed 2 male passengers, never reported the incident, and went on about her day. PRT reinstated her on a technicality. The only difference is they were white operators and their victims were Black. Because of the severity of the situation, each of our human response was self-preservation. Which led us to leaving our seats. The infraction for each was the same, but yet my white counterparts were only suspended and reinstated on a technicality. But I received the harsher punishment of termination. Had I been a white operator, maybe PRT would have seen me as a victim, just like they did my white counterparts. The culture that has been created at PRT does not exhibit diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. PRT does not treat their Black operators the same as they do their white operators. The white operators are extended mercy and grace, and the Black operators are not extended that same mercy nor grace. So once again, I do not see the culture that exhibits diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. Thank you for your time. Next speaker is Laura Weeks. Laura, welcome.
Good morning, Pittsburgh Regional Transit Board members. I'm Laura Schuweens. I'm the Executive Director of Pittsburghers for Public Transit. I want to first express my appreciation for the bus line redesign team and the openness and collaboration of Amy Silverman and Derek Dauphin in engaging with PBT and our members. We do see PRT's robust efforts around public engagement and will be very active in coming months to grow participation in PRT's processes, particularly in high need and highly affected communities. I'd like to raise several high-level observations, opportunities, and concerns. The first is the timeline for the bus line redesign should be responsive to PRT establishing and meeting targets around engagement by region and demographics rather than arbitrary dates. The onus to get to know about and get responses to the proposal, particularly from low-income Black and immigrant, older adults, disabled communities, and youth, should be shifted to PRT rather than the public at large. And the process slowed down if that's not happening, if those targets are not met within PRT's 3 or 4 month timeline that goes through the holidays. I'm the parent of 2 PPS school kids whose school is proposed to close. There's no clear timeline for adoption of these proposed school closures, nor what modifications may be made, and no proposal yet even for what neighborhood enrollment zones are, So I and other parents of the 20,000 PPS students cannot weigh in on the bus line redesign and its ability to meet my kids' needs. Students are an important demographic for transit riding, and the redesign has to be responsive to the changing PPS school circumstances. For that reason alone, I would urge a delay. Bus stop elimination is also a huge part of this proposal that transit riders will not really be able to appreciate from the pop-ups in the website. Whatever the purported efficiency benefits of bus stop consolidation are, they come at the expense of accessibility and rider safety for the last mile to get to and from destinations to stops, and at the expense of ridership. As PPT, we continue to be categorically opposed to bus stop consolidation in low-income and high-equity need areas where pedestrian infrastructure is limited. Cutting stops creates serious ADA, safety, and equity issues. And it's a topic where you will not be collecting meaningful feedback, given the scope of all of the other changes that are being proposed. PRT has said that on-demand service may replace regularly scheduled service in 4 high-need communities. This on-demand microtransit service would go to predetermined stops in the community when called, and riders would pay an uncertain amount for this poor quality service. We have a lot of concerns with this idea. On-demand transit would mean that riders would have to wait an unspecified amount of time to catch a bus at these call locations, then transfer somewhere nearby onto another fixed route bus to get into the transit system, making everyday trips lengthy and unpredictable. We know this type of service is extremely costly per rider, and if these costs aren't passed off to the passenger, it will come at the expense of improved service in other parts of the county. In Penn Hills, McKeesport, Natrona Heights, and Belts Hoover, Knoxville, Bon Air, Mont Oliver, PRT must instead run reliable, high-frequency service that comes on a fixed schedule and connects to critical destinations, regardless of the size of the buses. Finally, we need PRT to use the bus redesign's 20% service increase proposal for advocacy to win increased state funding to begin to restore levels of service we had just 4 years ago. We need PRT leadership to have a strategy and identify a viable financial pathway to implementing restored and expanded service and talk about it. Plans like this, which we really appreciate that the bus line redesign team put together, are a tool and not meant to sit on a shelf. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Chaz Williams. Hello, welcome.
Morning. I wanted to address and clarify some information that I received in response to last month's meeting. I learned that the PRT suggests that the terminations had gone up because of the pre-screening assessment that was removed during the hiring process. Your department heads are trying to falsify and convey false information as if the numbers were massive over just the last 2 years in comparison to perhaps the last 5, 10, or 15. But I want to be clear about the issues. It's not just about the terminations. It's about the way that the Black employees are treated overall in comparison to whites, as you just heard from Tammy. It's about the suspensions. It's about the last chance agreements. It's about the NDAs that you put people under so that the public won't be able to have access to that information. You allow the managers to target us as Black employees. You allow them to harass Black employees with little or no consequence. You allow your department heads to retaliate against your employees who get awarded their arbitration by an arbitrator that you agreed upon. You tolerate your white employees to tell Black employees to go back to their own country. It's a very toxic culture that is led here, but I would hope that it would be your intention to see and provide a more healthy work environment. As these meetings are a matter of public record, I publicly extend to you an invitation to discuss the severe issues of an organization that you call yourselves the leaders of. I hope that I can come back next month and report that we are in conversation and that your Black employees can be encouraged by the fact that you're demonstrating that you care about their work environment. As I pay close attention to what's going on in the media around the country and around the world of the various CEOs who are taking heat, because at the end of the day, as a spiritual person, the way I see it is God is watching and he is not pleased. And I want to invite you again to come to the table. Let's discuss this before we are forced to the table. I will leave you with my contact information in the hopes that you will reach out to me. Thank you.
Linda Gorman.
Good to speak from here. Can you guys all hear me?
Can we accommodate, please? Want to make sure
I'd like to call PRT as well as state officials to action to make meaningful and substantial changes to our transportation system, as well as help us lobby for the funding to make these changes. It is going to take a partnership between Pittsburghers for Public Transit, PRT, drivers, riders, and state officials to make this happen. My name is Kelda. I'm a disabled Allegheny County citizen, and I face many challenges relating to riding public transit. Buses that do not show up or do not come until way after they or do put a real toll on my body. I have a stress-induced neurological condition. Therefore, any stress put on me can cause medical episodes, putting my safety at risk. A lot of the stressors involved with using public transit could be solved with substantial funding to be used for a more reliable transportation system. There are many ways to make our transportation more safe and reliable for all Pennsylvania citizens, as well as anyone who visits this great region. Make more service more reliable by running more buses, as well as maintaining a system of training and retraining drivers to allow them the possibility of helping riders to navigate the system safely, as well as to account for their own safety, as well as these provide riders and drivers knowledge of their rights and responsibilities when using or driving public transit. And on the last note, I again would like to call PRT as well as state officials to action to make meaningful and substantial changes to our transportation system, as well as help us lobby for the funding needed to make these changes. It is going to take partnership to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Angie Marchman. Angie Marchman. Angie Marchman. See anyone on the, no? And she pops on, just let me know. Okay? Last one is Dean Morganis. Dean Morganis. Dean Morganis. There as well. With that, that will conclude our public comment for today. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Friday, November 22nd. I thank everyone for attending today. I wish everyone is safe and happy Halloween, which is a nice community event now in town here. Feel free to enjoy yourselves, give lots of candy, and make sure you cover your dents thereafter. With that, this meeting is adjourned for the day, and everyone have a nice day.